Alright, welcome to another CTR nitro-fueled video. Today we have another shortcut guide episode and we are covering 4 new tracks in the series. We're gonna cover Papu's Pyramid, Dingo Canyon, Polar Pass and Tiny Arena. Now, 2 of these tracks don't actually have shortcuts, but I will give you guys some tips on how to actually race these tracks correctly, like how to get a lot of speed on these tracks. I don't master these tracks at all. I still can improve a lot on these tracks, but I'm still practicing, but I can give you guys what I know already. But first of all, we're gonna jump in Papu's Pyramid here, and there are 2 major shortcuts, and if you don't take these ones online, there is no way you will win, because there's a lot of people who go for it, a lot of people who do it successfully, and if you do that successfully, you win the race. Or of course, if you get unlucky by getting hit by items, you won't. But the first one is right after the 2 piranha plants. You can boost 3 times and put it into the perfect side of the nitro bar, and then go in between the 2 walls. Jump right at the end of the track, and then you should successfully land on top of the little platform, and then you can jump onto the track once again. This is the easier one of the 2, because the next one is pretty hard to master, but with a little bit of practice you should be able to do it. That is right at the end, the last corner. You can completely skip the last corner. What I do is I boost 3 times in between the 2 piranha plants, then I boost 1 time right before I take the jump, but I position myself to the most right side of the track, and then I press the jump button and go a hard right with my joystick, and then you should be able to take that shortcut. It does require a little bit of practice. There are multiple ways to actually do it, but this is how I do it, and I almost never mess up this shortcut anymore. Only if there's like a stupid time clock or I get hit by items, that's when I miss the shortcut. So that's how you take both shortcuts. I know there is a 3rd one actually, where you jump on top of a little platform, then you can jump on top of the bridge, but that just puts me off a little bit, because I can't really boost 3 times in between those 2 piranha plants right before the last turn. So that's why I just don't really take that one, but you could take that one if you really want to. I'm not too sure if it is too much faster than if you would just normally drive the track. So that's Papu's Pyramid. Hopefully this was at least a little bit useful for you guys. Then we have Dingo Canyon. Now there isn't really a shortcut on this one. This is the first track that we cover where there's no actual shortcut, I think. Or maybe like Slide Coliseum and Turbo Track, but this one, there's like no really good way to traverse this one easily, like really fast. I would say when you're in the water area down low, try and go for the boosts. There is a couple of ledges you can actually get a little bit of height from. So if you boost a couple of times right before taking that ledge there, you go way up in the air and you get a little speed boost. That's basically the only thing I can give you guys. When the track splits into 2 parts, I always take the right one, because it's easier to just link up or chain up my turbo drifting. So I would say take the right side, but other than that, there is no way I can give you guys to actually race this track really fast, or faster than normal. I guess it just requires a little bit of practice. If you just continuously drift boost, you should be good to go, and you should end up at least on the podium in online play. And then we have a Polar Pass. Now there's two shortcuts on this one, 2 actually very hard shortcuts. I mess these ones up quite a lot. The first one is in the area where you have a lot of turbo pads. You can actually take the first turbo pad, then take the second turbo pad and go all the way to the right corner of that little area right there, and the most right corner you just press R1, do a hard turn to the right, and then you should just barely make that shortcut. I do mess it up. If you are not going fast enough, it might be tricky to get this one. If you already have Sacred Fire, it is easy to get, but if you don't have Sacred Fire, you could still get that shortcut, but I wouldn't do it with a turning character or a handling character, because they are just really not going fast enough. I would just go the long way with the turning characters, but with a speed character, with a balanced character, maybe even with an acceleration character, you could go for the shortcut without even having Sacred Fire. So it requires a lot of practice. I'm still not good at it either, but I'm getting a little bit better every single time I play. But that's the first shortcut, and then you have the second shortcut, which is really annoying because there is 2 seals right before the shortcut and I always drive into them. Basically what you do is you get a little bit of speed by boosting the corner 3 times, then jumping right before the seals, and then going right in between them and pressing R1 at the most elevated point of the road, and then you should be able to jump right over the wall and land directly onto the turbo pad. And that is the second shortcut. It is really tricky to get, especially because of those seals. You gotta kind of learn how fast they're going and kind of I don't know, see the gap in between the seals, I guess. It is difficult to say, but once you get used to it, you should be able to take it. And then we have a tiny arena. Again, there is no actual shortcut on this map. The best way to actually go fast here is by jumping off of every single little height difference on this map. There's a lot of like kind of little hops you can do. The most tricky part, I think, is the one with the 2 mud puddles right at the start, like maybe after the first turn. If you're going with a speed character, I would recommend the U-turning when you take the first jump, because you will drive into the wall if you don't really do that. I would say go to the far left of the first jump, then use the U-turning to actually land, and then you can just jump over the second mud puddle as well. But other than that, there is no really correct way to actually do this track. You just have to repeatedly practice this track and you will find a way to actually traverse this one really easily and fast. I've seen people online being absolute gods at this track. Usually when I play this track, I end up 2nd or 3rd. I'm not the best at this one, but I'm still getting a little bit better. But that's gonna be it for today's episode, though. We covered 4 tracks: Papu's Pyramid, Dingo Canyon, Polar Pass, and Tiny Arena. Hopefully this was at least a little bit useful for you guys. I know Dingo Canyon and Tiny Arena don't really have shortcuts, but I still wanted to give you guys a little bit of tips to do these tracks just a little bit faster than you're used to. Anyway, I'm gonna end the episode right here, though. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like if you want to see more. Then subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.